In this video, we will be reviewing Meds 2.0, which went live with Advanced Care Partners on April 16th, 2024. When you are in your shift and you're ready to document medications, click on the Medications tab. You will see three new tabs here: the Client Identification tab, the Administration tab, and your Med Profile. The medication profile is the default page that your medications will go to. This is just a list of the medications on that profile. The place where you want to go to document your medications is under the Administration tab. Click on the Administrations and you will see To Do, Completed, and PRN. As you can see at the top, you also have your date. You can scroll backwards and forwards between this date. So let's document a med that we are going to give today. So far, it looks like I have several medications that are due this morning. The new EMR allows you to select multiple medications if you're giving them at once. If you're not giving these medications at the same time, I would recommend, if you want to group them together, group the ones that you're doing at that time. So I'm going to give my 8 o'clock medications together. So I select both of these and click Document. As you can see, it will pull up these two medications, and you can click on them and review additional information, or you can remove them if you accidentally selected the wrong one. Then click Next. It will then bring you to Administration Details page where you can make sure your date is correct, make sure your time is correct that you administered them. We all chart by exception at many times due to patient care, so you can always come in and now change this time to the time you actually administer these medications. Anything that has a star, you have to make sure you address. And you may address any additional information on this page, given as ordered, and put in a comment. And then once you're complete, you can click Save. As you can see, those two medications went away off of my to-do list for today. You can click the Completed tab, and now you will see those two medications that I administered. If you had needed to administer a PRN medication, you may click on that tab and select any of these medications to administer. Once you click on that medication, it'll allow you to do the date and the time, and then click Save at the bottom to administer. If you accidentally administered a medication and need to make a correction on any medication, you can click on that medication in the Completed tab, and a pencil will be located out beside that med. Click on the pencil and select a status that you want to put in for this medication. For example, I entered this one in error, so I'm going to select that and select my reason. Accidental selection. Med not given. And that comment would no longer be applicable to this medication. Once I click Update, that medication will be entered in error, and you will see that it will move away from the Completed tab and over to the To Do tab again to be administered at a different time. You may also go to the Completed tab, for example, and you needed to edit a medication you administered yesterday. You can change your date over and get back to that medication that was administered to edit that as well. This is how you document in Meds 2.0. You now have the option to also add a medication. If you go into the medication profile, click the plus sign. It's the blue plus sign at the bottom right-hand corner. And you can start to add your medication in. This is the best practice for the nurses in the field to input any new medications here and notify their supervisors. I'm going to click a custom medication. We are working on a medication library that will pull data automatically. In the meantime, we will utilize this custom medication. I'm going to enter Tylenol. And my strength is 150 milligrams per 5 milliliters. 7.5, and I'm going to utilize the milliliters dose. The dosage form is optional. If you know, you can select this. But everything with a star has to be addressed. I'm going to give it via G-tube. And my frequency is going to be at PRN. So when you come in here, you will see a PRN field underneath. You can select your Q 6 hours. And then make sure you select this PRN option so that it moves to PRN medications. Fever, pain, and administration type has to be addressed. So you'll click assisted if it is assisted, and we administer it for them. And if you had a narcotic or high alert medication, you can also select these options. You'll click next. If you don't know the start date and the start time, that is okay. You can click on the date and time here and click also unknown if you do not know the unknown start and end date. It will make you address both the start and end. And it just gives a frequency of times here if they were to be administered, for example. When you're administering these, this can be adjusted. And you can provide any additional details right here in the instructions. Click next, put in your doctor. You can click next, and this is just a discrepancy and reconciliation, not required to be addressed, but you can if you need to. For instance, this came from a physician. And then we can save this form, or we can save and add another medication. So if you have several medications, it gives you that option to be able to add them all at once instead of having to go out and go back in. I'm going to click save. And my medication has now been completely uploaded. If I go into my administrations tab, I can now see that my Tylenol is in there to administer. Anytime you put a new medication in, please notify your supervisor so that they can go in and send it to the doctor for signature if needed. If you're putting in a medication that has an RX number, be sure to include that RX number when you're putting that medication in the instructions of that medication. And that is how you document in MEDS 2.0.